Ever look in the mirror and feel like that's not really you? There's a sadness in your eyes, a quiet voice inside whispering, something's not right, but instead of listening, you put on brighter lipstick, flash a bigger smile, and keep playing the role, the good girl, the perfect mom, the ideal partner. You've gotten so good at the act, even you start to believe it, but your soul can't be fooled. It's still waiting in the shadows. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Shadow isn't evil. It's the parts of yourself you pushed away, the swallowed feelings, the buried anger, the childhood wounds no one heard. For women, the shadow often hides beneath sacrifice, niceness, jealousy, insecurity, or ambition we're too scared to admit. Ever felt angry for no clear reason or jealous of another woman and then instantly guilty? Maybe you've dreamt of a mysterious woman, wild, free, fierce. Not you, but strangely familiar. That's your shadow, and it wants you to notice. You can truly love yourself while rejecting your shadow. But if you're brave enough to face it, not to fix or erase it, but to listen, understand, and embrace it, something powerful happens. You start to feel alive again, raw, real strong, and free. Jung didn't tell us to be positive all the time. He taught us to become whole, both light and dark, soft and wild. Shadow work won't make you perfect. It'll make you real. Picture this. A woman who used to smile through everything now says no. One who hid her jealousy now speaks up, "I deserve love too." Someone who once craved approval now chooses to be her true self, even if no one claps. That could be you after starting your shadow work journey. This video isn't a quick fix or a feel better fast guide. It's a space where we'll dive into Jung symbols, unpack emotions, and explore the most mysterious place of all your own inner world. Ready, grab a journal, a cup of tea, and an honest heart. This journey won't be easy, but it will be worth it. There's a part of you that never speaks, not because it doesn't exist, but because it's been silenced. Maybe when you were 5 and got angry, someone scolded, "Is that how a girl should act?" Maybe at 13, you felt jealous of your best friend, then immediately felt ashamed. Or maybe you wanted to stand out, feel sexy, but were scared of being called too much. Each time you learned to hide a part of yourself, you locked it away, labeled not allowed. That's where the shadow began. Jung didn't define the shadow as something morally bad. He saw it as the unconscious, the parts of ourselves we're afraid to see or express. For women, the shadow usually isn't sin, it's power that's been forgotten. Think about it. When a woman shows anger, she's crazy. When she expresses her needs, she's selfish. When she dreams big, someone says, "But what about your husband and kids?" Society teaches women to live without their darkness. But what gets buried doesn't stay buried. It fights to come back. The shadow doesn't disappear. It shows up in dreams and impulsive moments, in that inner voice that speaks when you're alone. It's the part of you still trapped, angry, jealous, sexual, lazy, ambitious, vulnerable. All the things we're told are bad but are deeply human. To picture the shadow, imagine standing in an old abandoned temple, dark, cold, cobwebbed. In every shadowy corner lies a memory you never processed. And in the center, a woman in chains. She's not angry, not afraid, just waiting for you to set her free. That's your shadow. Jung said the shadow is the first doorway to individuation, the process of becoming fully, authentically yourself. No one finds inner freedom without walking through their darkness. A woman once told me, "I spent my life being the nice girl. I never got angry until I had a child. And when they messed up, I became my mother, cold, yelling, controlling. I hated myself until I realized this was the part of me I never let speak. That rage, it wasn't wrong. It was the shadow crying out to be heard." Women aren't afraid of weakness. They're afraid of judgment, afraid of losing love. And so they push away even the parts that could make them whole. The shadow isn't your enemy. It's your fiercest ally, but only if you stop ignoring it. We've learned to cover our wounds with a pretty face. But now shadow work asks you to take off the mask, to ask, what am I still hiding? It might be desire, a dream you've never voiced, a hurt that's never been grieved, an ambition you've never admitted even to yourself. Just remember, the parts you've rejected had a reason for showing up. Jung called it psychological compensation. When the world demands you be good, the unconscious grows your bad side to keep you balanced. And inside that shadow is some of your most powerful creative energy if you're brave enough to go there. So the real question isn't it, how do I get rid of the shadow? It's how can I start a conversation with it as a sacred part of who I really am? Let me tell you a story about a woman named Claire, 37, from Oregon. A mom of two, Claire had always been the picture of the ideal woman, calm, nurturing, never angry. Her friends called her a walking meditation. But on the inside, Claire felt like she was disappearing. Something in her was screaming, and no one could hear it. Not even herself, she'd learned to tune it out. Things started to unravel during a therapy session using active imagination, a method Carl Jung once used to connect with the unconscious. When guided to meet her inner shadow, Claire broke down. She saw herself but different, messy, wild-eyed, barefoot, wearing a blazing red dress. The woman screamed at her, "I am you. I'm the rage you never admitted. I'm the desire you were always ashamed of. I'm the scream you've swallowed all these years." Claire panicked, but then she recognized the face. It was her at 17, the day she had an abortion in secret. No one knew. No one asked. That pain was buried deep like it never happened. And from that moment on, Claire learned how to become a good woman. Jung once wrote, "The shadow is everything the ego refuses to recognize." But here's the paradox: what we reject is often where our soul lives. When Claire had the courage to return to that memory, not to judge it, just to be present, she felt something she had in years: truth. Because the shadow isn't just pain, it's where your soul got left behind. It's the version of you that never got to live. And when you go back to find it, something powerful happens, like Jung described in Mysterium Conjunctionis, the merging of opposites to create the inner philosopher's stone. Claire didn't come out of that experience perfect, but she did come out different. She started saying no when she was exhausted, let herself get angry without guilt. She even began writing a book about mothers who suffer in silence. From the darkness, Claire reclaimed her voice. Friend, you might not be Claire, but maybe you're carrying your own shadow, the part of you that's been ignored. Maybe you've wished you were less sensitive, less intense, less emotional, just to fit into a world that was never built for your kind of soul. Ask yourself, who do you resent but can't explain why? Ever had a dream that left you feeling ashamed? Is there a part of you wild, angry, hurting that's never had a voice? That is your shadow speaking. And what the shadow needs from you isn't judgment. It's your attention, your honesty, the bravery to sit down and ask, what do you need from me? You don't have to fix yourself. You just need to be with yourself. And that is the bravest thing a woman can do. When a woman starts recognizing her shadow, she doesn't need to change everything overnight. All she needs to do is pause, breathe, and gently look at the part of herself she's feared the most. Carl Jung said, "We do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." We don't find the light by dreaming of positivity, but by turning on the light inside our own darkness. So, where can you begin? 1. Uncensored journaling. Each morning or night, write 3 full pages by hand, without stopping. Write down the things you're afraid to say out loud, the ugly thoughts you try to hide. Let it all out without judgment, because the shadow only shows up when you stop performing. 2. Track your negative emotions. Whenever you feel jealous, angry, or sad for no reason, don't push it down. Ask, where is this feeling coming from? What truth is it trying to tell me that I haven't wanted to face? That's your shadow leaving breadcrumbs. 3. Pay attention to your dreams. Jung believed dreams are the voice of the unconscious. Write down the images, symbols, and people that show up, especially the ones that disturb you. They're often the gateway to the parts you've denied. 4. Dialogue with your shadow through imagery or imagination. Try drawing your shadow. Who is she? What does she wear? How does she speak? Then imagine a conversation with her. You ask, she answers. This is a form of active imagination, a technique Jung used to connect with deep inner archetypes. 5. Rewrite your story. You don't need to become the perfect woman. You need to become the one who tells the truth. Rewrite your life story. no filter, from your shadow's point of view. What would happen if the part of you you've always hidden finally got a voice? In these small steps, you might touch some pain, but within that pain, you'll also find a kind of aliveness you thought you'd lost. One woman once told me, I realized the wild part of me wasn't here to destroy. She was here to protect my soul when I'd forgotten what I really wanted. And in many ancient cultures, the wild woman wasn't cast out. She was the keeper of life's sacred secrets. So here's your invitation and your truth. If you weren't afraid of being judged, who would you allow yourself to become? If you could say one thing without being interrupted, what would you say? If your shadow had a body, what would she need from you today? Stop trying to fix yourself. Just watch with unconditional love. Because what you've called crazy or wrong might actually hold the deepest keys to who you really are. Jung said every person carries a myth, a sacred story of their own. And the shadow, it's the forgotten part of that myth. When you listen to it, you're doing something sacred, returning to your whole self. And if you're just starting this journey, don't walk it alone. Let this video be your space to ask questions, share your truth, and connect with other women who are also walking through the dark. Leave a comment if you'd like to share. A part of your shadow, you're starting to meet a strange dream that won't leave you, or simply a symbol that's been haunting you. This community isn't here to fix each other. It's here to see each other, in both the light and the dark. If you've made it this far with me, take a moment and listen. Not to my voice, but to the one rising inside you, fragile like a breath awakening after a long sleep. The darkness is no longer a threat. It's a guide. It's always been there, not waiting to be conquered, but to be met eye to eye. Jung once said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. The greatest gift in life isn't becoming your ideal self or the version the world applauds. It's becoming you, whole, untouched, unfiltered. When you walk through the shadow, you don't come out wearing a shiny crown. You come home with a softer heart, deeper eyes, a truer voice. You don't need to shout, I'm healed. You just need to live without hiding anymore. And if there's one thing I hope you take from this video, it's this. Trust the parts of you you've rejected. They're not bad. They've just never been heard. Let your anger, your fear, your longing, your daydreams sit together in the house of your soul. No one gets kicked out. Ask yourself every day, what part of me is asking to be seen today? Because becoming yourself isn't a one-time thing. It happens in each honest moment, each act of kindness toward your shadow, each breath where you stop running. If this video stirred something in you, I invite you to share in the comments a dream, a flash of rage, a moment you allowed yourself to cry in public. You won't be judged here. You'll be heard and seen. You can also leave a symbol, something that represents your shadow, a wolf, a mirror, a candle, or maybe just silence. And if this space feels safe, like a place you can return to, I invite you to subscribe. Not for the algorithm to find you, but so you'll always have somewhere to come back to. On the days when no one understands you, not even you. Think of this space as a small light, gentle, steady, waiting for you on the days you feel lost. Thank you, not just for staying until the end, but for daring to walk into the territory most people avoid. Thank you for your honesty, your softness, and for not turning off this video when it touched something deep inside you. Maybe no one out there knows what journey you're on, but I do. And I believe it is one of the most sacred journeys of all to become a woman who is true to her own soul. And you're on the right path.